this is probably the greatest transfer window I've ever seen in my short time as an Arsenal fan. I feel like we hit a lot of the things we needed. We got rid of a lot of things we didn't. And while I think it was a little bit incomplete, I can't fault any of the business that was done. So let's talk. Hola, Theodos. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the last transfer tango of the summer window, and it's been an exciting one. As you can tell, I'm not home. I'm on holiday with the missus celebrating our anniversary. But I didn't want to kind of go on another week without speaking about our transfers, and so I stole away from the beach. Took a break from the beach in the sun, and here I am. So I just want to say, first and foremost, this has been the most exciting window that I've been a part of as an Arsenal fan in the last 10 years. I think it's been our best window in the last 10 years. We got some good players in. We got rid of players that we didn't need. And although I feel like we could have done a little bit more, I mean, I can't fault anything that we've done in the window. And we've got some exciting signings. So we're going to go over them. And then we're going to talk about the window as a whole and some things that I think we could have done. And we're going to end with, are we good enough to win the league? Is this good enough to win the league? So just speaking on, our incomings, we got 8 players. 8 players. That's something I did not think that Arsenal, in the past we've always gotten 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, but 8 players coming in. And I just remember, I remember signing Petr Cech for the window. Like, that's it. That's all we signed. So to come from there to 8 players, massive. Let's talk about the incomings. Our first signing was Kepa. And, as I said, I thought that signing it's a mass signing. I think he's a really good backup keeper. And if, Raya were to go out, I think, him having been a first-team keeper, I'd rather have him than, Alex Runnison or the Matt Turners of the world. So I think it was a solid signing. The one that we kind of knew was happening for a long time, it took forever, was Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. And, yeah, I mean, his first couple games, he's looked decent. But, it's one of those signings that we were kind of like, yeah, it's a midfielder. We needed him. We did lose Partey, and we need a midfielder. So people were like, it's a solid signing. We of the 8 signings, I think we had 4 that can be starters and 4 that are definitely depth pieces. And Kepa falls under depth piece, and of course Martin Zubimendi starter. So let's go through the depth pieces. So we did bring in Christian Mosquera, who was from Valencia, and in his couple games, the last game, at Liverpool, we had William Saliba go out with injury, and he came in, and I just don't remember hearing his name. And I think for a center back, that's pretty solid. If we're not talking about you making a mistake, I think that's pretty good. So I will take that. I will take that every day of the week. And I think he will be a solid signing. We also got Christian Norgard, Brentford's captain. We haven't seen too much of him in the season, but I think as the season goes on, in those games like the Cup games and, the Champions League games that we're probably just dominating in, I think he'll come in and do a job. So I think that was a solid signing as well. And even if he's not, that big an impact player, if he's like an El Nini, I think he has a leadership, having been Brentford's captain, to come into the game, and people will look at him and say, let's keep going. Let's keep the lead. Let's, keep what we have. So I think that's solid. And then finally, on deadline day, we signed Piero Hincapié. I think it's Hincapié, from Bayer Leverkusen. And he's kind of a left back, left center back. And, from what I've seen, I think he'll be solid. As far as our left back situation, Calafiore's been really solid this year. We haven't seen so much in MLS. I think he's going more into midfield. But Calafiore was solid. Calafiore was solid against Mohamed Salah. So I think Hincapie will have a tough time in his hands getting into the team ahead of him. But it's a good, solid piece, especially when we lost Kivior, who we'll talk about a little bit later. Now let's talk about the exciting signings. We got 4 guys who, are definite starters, and we've already spoken about one, Martin Zubimendi. I already told you how I feel about him. And then we got Nani Madueke. Now, Nani Madueke, for every Arsenal fan, was kind of a head scratcher, to be honest. Firstly, because he comes from Chelsea, and we already got Kepa. I thought we hit the Chelsea quota. But a lot of fans were kind of like, another one. Especially when you look at his price tag, £52 million. It's a little bit steep for the kind of player that we were thinking we got with Nani Madueke. But I won't lie to you guys, with Saka being out and him in the Liverpool game, he looked solid. He looked solid on the right wing. And I think that while it is a little bit steep, the price we paid, I think he will have a part to play. He looked electric. He was taking people on. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see from our wingers. And when you look at, people that we have on the left wing, Martinelli, I think that Madueke will definitely be vital because Martinelli has lost his footballing ability. And I think we need somebody like Madueke, even if it's on the left wing and it's not his spot. I still think he gives us more than what Martinelli's been showing. So I think that's solid. As far as the other two, now these 2 signings right here is the reason that next week I'm going to go raid the Armory. I'm going to go do the tour. I'm going to go spend money at Arsenal. And let's start with Victor Gyokeres. And this is a signing that myself and a lot of my friends, a lot of my Arsenal fans were crying out for, an out-and-out number 9. No more Gabriel Jesus's, no more Kai Havertz, no more plugging and playing people into the false 9 or, midfielders that can play the 9. We needed an out-and-out striker, and Andrea Berta and Mikel Arteta went and got one. And they got the hottest striker, in Europe on form. They got him. For a while, it seemed like it was going to be Benjamin Sesko. And I was definitely underwhelmed with that. And we got Gyokeres. As far as kind of the whole Sesko versus Gyokeres thing, I think that Sesko will be a good player. He went to Man United, so we're going to see how good he is. In the first couple games, he's been kind of meh. But I think the problem with me was always the fact that we didn't need another project. We needed someone who could put goals in the back of the net. And we got him. We got Victor Gyokeres, and I know that, his only goals have come against Leeds. He didn't do too much against Man United and Liverpool, but he's new. He's figuring out the system, and he might take a little bit. But he's an out-and-out number 9, and that's what we need. We need someone who's not afraid to take shots. What we have to do now is actually get him into the game. We have to get him involved. We have to get him firing. And that's going to take a little bit of time. We're on the international break now, so I think there'll be some, work done once they get back. He's with Sweden now, so, he'll still get match fitness and stuff like that. And I think it'll happen. But I'm just so glad that we got a striker. I've already got his kit. As soon as they was giving free printing for the Gyokeres, he's got the 14 shirt. I was weak. They got me. And, they're going to get me on the next one, too. So, Everett at Eze, and it's the one that we desperately needed. We needed someone who, I'm not going to lie, street baller. We needed a street baller. Someone how Martinelli used to be. Martinelli used to have, the street ball flair, and somehow he lost it along the way. And Eze will give you that. But Eze will also give you directness. He will link, with the strikers. He will bring people into the game, and that's exactly what we needed. And I'm gassed. He got the number 10 shirt as well. Yeah, they're about to take money from me because Eze was definitely who we wanted. And for a while, it seemed like the deal was not going to happen. And then Kai Havertz got injured. And the best thing about the Eze signing is Tottenham Hotspur fans were talking trash for an entire week. Oh, you guys suck. You guys ain't going to get Eze. Look at us. Big club, big club. And then he called Mikel Arteta and said, can I please come to Arsenal? And we got him. Tottenham in the mud on top of the fact that we signed one of the best players in the Prem, put the number 10 shirt on him, and he's doing, Let It All Work Out video. I probably sang Let It All Work Out 50 million kajillion times. I got my wife singing it as well. Yeah, it was perfect. It was perfect. He's a London guy. He's an Arsenal fan. It was the perfect signing, and I think it was a staple of our window. And I'm super excited for all 8 signings, to be honest. Even though all of them, might not have been the most overwhelming or exciting signings, they're all solid signings, and that's what I want to see. They're all guys who can contribute, and not just project guys that we hope are going to make it. As far as the outs, let's talk about some of those project guys that we've gotten in the past. So we've had 5 loans. I think a couple of them are with obligations. Carl Hein has gone to Werder Bremen on loan. Jacob Kivior has gone to Porto on loan, and I think that one's with an obligation to buy 27 million euros, which is kind of under what we paid for him, but at least we're going to get something. Which in the past we just let guys walk, so I'll take that. Reece Nelson went to Brentford on loan, which I think he'll do good at Brentford. He'll have good coaching, and he'll stay in London as well. It's not Fulham, but I think Brentford's a solid move for him as well. Fabio Vieira has gone to Hamburg on loan. Fabio's the one that was kind of tricky because, the man went to Porto, and then Porto didn't want him back. So, yeah, he was one I didn't think was going to go. I think he's gone to Hamburg with an option to buy as well. So hopefully he does well enough for them to trigger that option. And then, of course, my favorite guy, I call him Spinchenko in the group chat, Alexander Zinchenko. He's gone to Nottingham Forest. And I think that's a good move for him because I think, he's played in the Prem. I think he's solid enough to be a Prem player. And Nottingham Forest are in Europe, so he'll get some European time. And if he does well enough, hopefully they'll buy him off of us as well, and he'll continue to be loved by the Nottingham fans. As far as our outgoings, our permanent outgoings, of course, Jorginho left to Flamengo. We did see him in the Club World Cup. I think Jorginho, if he had been 3 or 4 years younger, we'd have held on to him, but I think he's just, he's past the speed required in the Prem. But he's very good as far as a leader, and I think he helped us, compete as far as leadership, and I think that's something that we needed. Sambi Lakanga, a.k.a. Bambi Lakanga, has gone to Hamburg on a permanent, so him and Fabio have gone to Hamburg, and hopefully they have a good season so that we can get rid of both of them as well. Marquinhos has gone to Cruzeiro. Marquinhos was one where I thought he was going to be better than Martinelli. I thought he was going to be the next big thing, and he just never worked out for us. So I'm glad he's going back to go play football. Thomas Partey, his contract ended, and he went to Villarreal. And it's a good move for him. The Spanish league is a bit, I wouldn't say slower, but I think it's a bit better for kind of how he plays. And I think he'll do well at Villarreal as well. They're one of those teams that they always, Villarreal, they beat us in Europe. So they're always one of those teams that they may not be at the top in Spain, but they'll be solid and they'll be kind of hoping to get into Europe. Nuno Tavares went to Lazio. And Nuno Tavares, he's been a lot of places. I think he was Marseille. And he's another player that, looked like he was going to be good in the team, and it just didn't work out for him. And he's been on loan. And now he's a permanent Lazio, so he'll be in Italy. And I'm pretty sure they'll love his talents there. Kieran Tierney, of course, Kieran Tierney. At one point, we thought he was going to be the captain. And, he just fell out of favor with Mikel because he's traditional left back. He couldn't invert. He wasn't one of those inverting guys. And he just didn't get into the team. I think he thought it was solid. But it's solid that he's going back to Celtic. As I said, they crashed out of the Europe qualifying stages. But he'll most likely have a good time and win some trophies up in Scotland. So I think it's solid for him. And lastly, Takahiro Tomiyasu, he was released. Don't think he's found a club yet. And Tomiyasu was one of those players, that when he came in, he was electric, so exciting. And we always have a few players in our transfers that look very good, or players that come through that look very good, and then they get injured and they just can't shake it. Since I've been a fan, you had the Jack Wilshers, the Aaron Ramseys, Tomiyasu's, just guys who have all the talent in the world but can't stay on the treatment table. And that sums up kind of Tomiyasu, his time with Arsenal. And yeah, good on him. I hope he does go back somewhere, and I hope he does get to play. So yeah, we got 5 loans and seven permanent moves. So 12 guys out of the club, brought in 8, good, solid replacements. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the business that we've done. Now's the question. Is it good enough for us to win? Is it good enough for us to win the league? I think that the one area that I think we could have maybe focused on a little bit more is still that left wing. Martinelli. Right now we have Martinelli and Trossard. That's kind of our natural left wingers. Nani Madueke will probably play left wing. And then you've brought in Eze, who, if Odegaard's playing, then I would probably put him at left wing rather than Nani Madueke. So, but as far as a natural left winger, I think I would have liked to see, a Leao or someone come in who's a natural out-and-out left winger. I think that's my only gripe with the window. As far as kind of the grade on the window, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. We got rid of so much dead wood. We brought in some exciting guys. I think 10 out of 10 would have been if we could have gotten somebody like Rodrigo, which I said it wasn't going to happen. I don't think you want to leave Real Madrid. Players usually don't leave Real Madrid of their own accord. They usually kind of get pushed out. So, yeah, he's going to stay, which is fine. But as far as the other business, I think it was solid 9 out of 10. And I think it is good enough to win the league, honestly. You look at the other business that was done. Yes, Liverpool got Isak, but they're still shaky at the back. They weren't able to, get Mark Guehi over the line, which Arsenal fans were kind of like, yes, because they are shaky at the back. And even though we couldn't exploit that in our game, I think that a lot of other teams will, and they'll drop points. I think our defense is solid. We had that rolled ankle with Saliba, and Mosquera came in, and we didn't look any more shaky at the back. I think that that goal we conceded was a free kick, and those happen. But as far as defensively, I think we're solid. We just have to get that attack up, and I think we have the players. We've brought in the players, and we have the players in the team to get that attack going. I think this is good enough to compete for the league, and I think it's good enough to win it. I think if we have the players that can break down the low block. We have the Ezes. We have, the Zubimendis who can pass balls around. We still have Declan Rice. Saka wasn't playing in the last game. He was injured. And for Nani Madueke to come in and, not miss a beat, that's what we asked for as Arsenal fans. That's what we were begging for. So I'm excited with that. I'm happy with that. And as I said, I do think it's good enough to win the league. Will we win the league? Only time will tell. But I think that window, for the first time in the 10 years that I've been watching, is good enough to say, you know what, it's a statement of intent. We want to win. We don't want to just sit at second. And Josh Kroenke said, you have to give credit to Josh Kroenke. You got to give credit to Berta. You got to give credit to Arteta. Because Josh said, be excited. He said, we're not happy with finishing second. And then he came and put that window out. So I can't even be mad at the Kroenkes because they put the money out. They splashed the cash. Berta went and got players. He got the Ezes, the Gyokeres. He got the players that we wanted. So now it falls on Mikel Arteta to get the job done. It falls on him to get the job done. And I think we will win something. I think we'll win a trophy. I don't know if it's going to be the Carabao or the FA Cup, but we will win something, and I'm excited with the window. So on that note, I'm going back to the beach, going back to enjoy my holiday. Remember, guys, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take it easy.